Hey Raiders fans, we're back with an exclusive video bringing you the latest updates and insights about our beloved Las Vegas Raiders. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. That way, you'll never miss breaking news, insider info, and exclusive content that we bring you every week. Today, I want to start with a topic that's been on my mind and, honestly, making me a little nervous: Jakobi Meyers. Over the weekend, I got a message that really caught my attention. The message said, "There's some frustration surrounding Jakobi Meyers and the Raiders right now." It also mentioned that he currently has zero guaranteed money on his contract, with just 1 year left, and that he's been actively seeking a new deal. For what I've gathered, Jakobi and the Raiders have been having conversations about a contract extension for months. While I don't know exactly where the team stands at this moment, it's clear that Jakobi wants a new deal, and the timing of this situation is raising some concerns, especially when I think back to Kolton Miller's extension last summer. Remember July 30th? That was when Miller officially signed his contract extension, and around that same period, reports came out that the Raiders were also working on an extension for Jakobi Meyers. I did note at the time that it wasn't entirely clear how deep Rappaport was in the organization's inner workings, but the fact that he mentioned ongoing conversations between the Raiders and Jakobi is significant. Rappaport isn't someone who throws out rumors casually. He tends to report with accuracy and credibility. Fast forward about 3 weeks from that report, and here we are after the second preseason game, and still no deal. Jakobi isn't going to play in the final preseason game, and of course, most starters aren't. That situation alone raises questions. From what I was told, Jakobi is likely feeling like he's done everything right this offseason. He's been loyal, professional, and fully committed, but he hasn't been rewarded with a contract extension. Considering the team already traded for a quarterback, extended his contract, and extended Kolton Miller, Jakobi might understandably feel overlooked. And while I can't put words directly in his mouth, based on the information I've received, it's clear that there's some level of frustration brewing. A report from Levi Damien on August 14th had Jakobi responding cautiously when asked about an extension, essentially saying, "As much as they want me here, that's all I can really say." That kind of statement hints at potential tension, and I can't blame him. For someone who's consistently committed and performed at a high level, uncertainty around his contract could be frustrating. Throughout the offseason, I've been pointing out that Jakobi has done everything a player could be asked to do. He's been committed to excellence, professional, and reliable. Unlike some star receivers who are seen as divisive or high maintenance, Jakobi has consistently been a team player. Sure, he might not be a classic number one wide receiver in the league yet, but the Raiders have been looking for a true top-tier target all offseason, and based on the rumors swirling right now, it seems they may still be in search of that player. Even so, I genuinely believe Jakobi is a number one receiver in terms of value and contribution to the team. His versatility, commitment to blocking, and willingness to execute plays outside of the spotlight make him an invaluable asset, especially if the Raiders are planning to run a more balanced, run-heavy offense under a scheme like Chip Kelly's. Given all of this, I've been thinking about what the Raiders should do regarding Jakobi Meyers. I've developed a couple of extension projections to illustrate how this could work. The first is a 3-year, $54 million deal, which would average $18 million per year with $38 million guaranteed. The guarantee structure is similar to what the Raiders recently did with Kolton Miller, ensuring that 2 years are fully guaranteed while leaving some flexibility beyond that period. This structure provides security for Jakobi, rewards his loyalty, and aligns with the team's current payroll strategy. The second projection is slightly shorter in duration, but slightly higher in annual value. A 2-year, $38 million deal with $34 million guaranteed. This deal could be structured similarly to Geno Smith's contract, where the final year has no guaranteed money, giving the Raiders flexibility while still rewarding Jakobi for his contributions. Both deals would place him among the top 25 highest-paid wide receivers in the NFL, which seems fair given his production and importance to the team. One of the main reasons I advocate for extending Jakobi is that he represents exactly the kind of player the Raiders need in their current system. He's physical, humble, and team-oriented. He blocks, runs precise routes, and doesn't demand constant targets or accolades. In a system that emphasizes the run game while spreading the ball around, players like Jakobi are indispensable. He's the kind of player who executes every detail, keeps his head down, and lets his performance speak for itself. At the same time, I'm concerned that if the team doesn't act soon, the situation could escalate unnecessarily. The last thing the Raiders want is a potential contract dispute or holdout brewing in late August, right before the regular season kicks off. That kind of drama can destabilize the locker room and send the wrong message about how the organization treats loyal players. Now, looking ahead, I also want to explore what could happen if the Raiders don't extend Jakobi Meyers. There are a few scenarios. The first, and what I think is the most likely, is that Jakobi remains professional, plays the season, but makes it known that he's dissatisfied. That could create tension or make him a player to monitor for trades down the line. The second possibility is that he holds out until a new deal is reached, which would force the Raiders' hand and create significant pressure. The third, and perhaps most impactful, scenario is a trade. Jakobi is still a highly valuable player, and there would be numerous teams interested in acquiring him if the Raiders were willing to listen to offers. However, a trade now might not fetch the best return, as teams know the Raiders could negotiate an extension instead. If we consider potential trade destinations, several teams make sense. The Ravens could benefit from Jakobi's blocking ability and versatility. The Bills could look at him as a replacement if certain young receivers don't develop as expected. The Commanders could see him as a cost-effective addition to complement their existing talent. And let's not forget the Patriots and Titans, where previous connections with coaches and executives could make a reunion attractive. Each of these teams has offensive schemes and needs where Jakobi could immediately contribute, making him a hot commodity in the trade market if an extension isn't reached. Ultimately, this is why I feel strongly that the Raiders should prioritize extending Jakobi Meyers. He's proven, loyal, versatile, and the kind of player who embodies the team's core values. Rewarding that kind of professionalism not only benefits the team on the field, but sets the right precedent in the locker room for other players. It shows that commitment, performance, and team-first behavior are recognized and respected. The timing is crucial, and with preseason winding down, there's no better moment than now to Soli. Derek Carr, of course, has been a franchise quarterback for years, and there's no denying his impact on this team. But this offseason, the Raiders have been quietly working to make sure he's surrounded by reliable weapons who can maximize his skill set. That's where Jakobi Meyers comes in. You see, in today's NFL, a quarterback's success is deeply intertwined with the consistency and versatility of his receiving core. Carr has had high-profile receivers in the past, but what he truly needs now is a dependable, multidimensional option who can create separation, run precise routes, and maintain a high football IQ in critical situations. Jakobi checks all those boxes. We have to remember that Jakobi isn't just catching passes. He's contributing to the game plan in ways that often go unnoticed. Blocking on running plays, picking up blitzes, adjusting routes at the line of scrimmage. These are subtle but incredibly important skills. Many fans look at the stat sheet and see numbers, but they don't see the intangible impact. When a player like Jakobi is on the field, defenses have to account for his presence, which opens up opportunities for other receivers and running backs. His versatility allows the Raiders to design creative schemes, mix in motion plays, and keep defenses off balance. That kind of flexibility is invaluable in today's league. Now let's talk about depth. The Raiders have invested in a few promising young receivers, including draft picks and free agent additions. But the reality is that young players rarely step in and perform at a top level right away. Development takes time, and having Jakobi Meyers as the cornerstone of the receiving unit provides a stabilizing force. He's the kind of player who can mentor younger receivers, help them adjust to the pace of the NFL, and ensure the offense remains cohesive. That leadership component can't be overstated. Speaking of leadership, let's also examine the locker room dynamic. The Raiders have undergone some significant changes this offseason, both on the coaching staff and the player roster. Bringing in new talent is exciting, but it can also create uncertainty. Veteran presence like Jakobi's helps maintain continuity and keeps the team focused on the long-term vision. When younger players see someone who consistently performs, shows up to work, and remains professional, it reinforces the culture that the coaching staff wants to build. That's another reason why extending Jakobi makes sense. It's not just about his performance on the field. It's about the tone he sets off it as well. We also have to consider the offense as a whole. Josh McDaniels, the offensive coordinator, has been working to establish a system that maximizes both the passing and running games. In this system, timing, precision, and chemistry between the quarterback and his receivers are everything. Jakobi Meyers already has that chemistry with Derek Carr, which is priceless. You can't put a dollar value on the trust and familiarity between a quarterback and a receiver, especially in critical third-down situations or red zone scenarios. That trust leads to fewer mistakes, better decisions, and ultimately, more wins. Now, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture for the Raiders. The team's offseason strategy has been about balance, investing in the offensive line, securing key defensive pieces, and strengthening the receiving core. Each move seems calculated to create a competitive team capable of challenging for the playoffs. But here's the catch. None of that planning matters if you lose or mishandle a player like Jakobi Meyers. In a league where attention is often focused on superstar signings and flashy free agents, it's easy to overlook the value of the reliable, consistent contributors who keep the team running smoothly. Jakobi is one of those players, and his importance can't be overstated. Let's also look at some numbers to put this into perspective. Over the past few seasons, Jakobi has consistently delivered solid statistics. He may not always lead the league in receptions or yards, but his catch rate, route running efficiency, and situational awareness put him among the top tier of dependable receivers in the NFL. Teams often pay a premium for reliability, and in a high-stakes league where one drop pass can change the outcome of a game, having a player who rarely makes mistakes is invaluable. Jakobi's statistical profile might not scream superstar, but it screams trustworthy weapon, which is exactly what the Raiders need right now. Another factor to consider is contract structure. In the modern NFL, guaranteed money is king. Players are aware of the physical toll the sport takes, and understandably, they want security. Jakobi Meyers is no different. He wants a deal that reflects both his performance and his commitment to the team. From a management perspective, it makes sense to meet him partway with a structured contract that balances guaranteed money with performance incentives. This approach not only rewards Jakobi, but also protects the team financially and provides flexibility for future roster moves. A win-win situation, essentially. Now, some fans might argue that the Raiders could explore other options, like targeting a bigger-name free agent receiver or relying on younger talent. But let's be real, those approaches come with significant risk. Big-name free agents can be unpredictable, often requiring time to adjust to a new system, and sometimes carrying injury histories or attitude concerns. Meanwhile, relying solely on rookies or second-year players introduces inconsistency, which is dangerous in a league where every game matters. Jakobi Meyers, in contrast, is a known quantity. His performance is predictable, and his professionalism is unquestionable. That reliability is gold in the NFL. There's also a strategic advantage to locking Jakobi in now rather than waiting. By extending him before the season starts, the Raiders send a strong signal to the rest of the league. This team values loyalty, professionalism, and consistency. It's not just a contract, it's a statement about organizational culture. Other players in the locker room will see that commitment and understand that performing at a high level and staying dedicated to the team will be rewarded. That kind of culture fosters long-term success and minimizes the likelihood of distraction or unrest during the season. Finally, let's not forget the fan perspective. Raiders fans are passionate, and they notice when players contribute consistently and aren't recognized accordingly. Extending Jakobi Meyers not only makes sense from a football standpoint, but it also resonates with the fan base. It reinforces trust in management, demonstrates commitment to the players, and strengthens the bond between the team and its supporters. In today's NFL, where fan engagement is vital, these decisions matter beyond the X's and O's on the field. The Las Vegas Raiders may have just shaken the entire NFL landscape with a move that has left fans buzzing, analysts debating, and rivals scrambling to recalibrate their expectations. Rumors swirling around the league insist that Davante Adams, widely regarded as one of the very best wide receivers of his generation, is not only joining the silver and black, but doing so under terms that already carry the weight of being labeled the biggest signing in the franchise's long and storied history. From the moment whispers began to circulate that the Raiders' front office had pulled off a coup of this magnitude, conversations in sports bars, talk shows, and social media feeds exploded with speculation about what this could mean for a team desperate to return to true championship contention. The Raiders have long been associated with bold moves, whether during their rebellious years in Oakland, their challenging stint in Los Angeles, or now in the bright lights of Las Vegas. But the idea of bringing in Adams represents more than just another chapter in their legacy of headline-grabbing decisions. It signals a definitive intent to win, to dominate, and to make the kind of impact that echoes not only across the AFC West but throughout the NFL as a whole. As the rumor mill churns, some insiders claim that the deal struck with Adams surpasses any previous player acquisition in terms of financial magnitude, cultural resonance, and potential on-field production. While details remain cloaked in speculation, the talk is that Adams will be the centerpiece of a Raiders offense that has struggled to find an identity since the days of Rich Gannon and Tim Brown electrifying the field. The chatter suggests that the front office, led by Mark Davis and general manager Dave Ziegler, were willing to invest in Adams not merely for his statistics, but for the aura and leadership qualities he brings into the locker room. His rapport with quarterbacks, his ability to adjust to defensive schemes, and his proven track record of changing games with a single explosive play are all part of what makes his arrival seismic. Fans who endured years of mediocrity and heartbreak are now daring to believe again, whispering that Adams could be the catalyst to break the cycle of inconsistency. Even the most skeptical voices admit that, if true, this would stand as a masterstroke of ambition, aligning the Raiders with the kind of marquee firepower needed to compete against powerhouses like the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. Around training facilities and across national broadcasts, the discussions are less about whether Adams still has fuel left in the tank and more about how his presence could elevate the Raiders' current roster. Speculation runs rampant about his potential chemistry with the quarterback, his ability to draw double coverage that frees up other receivers, and how defensive coordinators across the league would now be forced to reconfigure their strategies. Some observers whisper that this move finally gives Las Vegas the face of the franchise they have lacked since their relocation. A player whose star power can fill Allegiant Stadium with not just local fans, but travelers drawn by the promise of witnessing greatness. Meanwhile, veteran players reportedly view Adams' potential arrival as a rallying point, a sign that the organization is truly serious about giving them the tools to win. What remains unclear, however, is whether Adams' personality, long known for its quiet intensity, will mesh seamlessly with the unique culture of the Raiders, a franchise historically defined by swagger, unpredictability, and a willingness to embrace the outsider role. If the rumors hold true, these questions will soon be tested on the field under the unforgiving spotlight of national attention. What makes the whispers even more intriguing is the broader context of the Raiders' position within the league's evolving landscape. The AFC West is a division already brimming with offensive firepower. Patrick Mahomes leading the Chiefs' dynasty in the making, Justin Herbert dazzling with the Chargers' aerial attack, and the Broncos perennially searching for stability but always dangerous. To compete in such a gauntlet requires more than ordinary moves. It requires shocks that alter the competitive balance. The rumor of Adams signing fits that mold perfectly. Analysts on radio shows and online platforms speculate that his presence could make the Raiders' offense not just competitive, but truly feared, capable of shootouts and comebacks, a nightmare for defensive backs. There are even those who suggest this move might influence other stars around the league, creating a ripple effect that draws further talent to Las Vegas, making the Raiders a destination franchise. Though whispers are all that exist for now, The energy surrounding this possible signing is palpable, the kind of frenzy that transcends sports and seeps into the culture of a city that thrives on spectacle, shock, and high stakes. In Las Vegas, after all, the lights shine brightest on those willing to gamble everything. Ultimately, whether the signing of Davante Adams lives up to its billing as the biggest acquisition in Raiders history will depend not on the noise of rumor or the magnitude of headlines, but on results delivered between the white lines. If Adams can replicate his dominance, pulling in touchdown catches, racking up yardage, and breaking the will of cornerbacks tasked with slowing him down, then the investment will seem like genius rather than risk. For now, though, what persists is a tantalizing sense of anticipation, a blend of excitement and doubt that keeps fans glued to every leak, every insider tip, every hint of confirmation. The Raiders, as a franchise, have always thrived on spectacle, and if Adams truly dons the silver and black, it will be a spectacle unlike any other, cementing Las Vegas not just as the entertainment capital of the world, but as a legitimate epicenter of football drama. Until official word emerges, the story remains in the realm of rumor, but rumors in sports often carry kernels of truth. And if this particular whisper proves accurate, it will mark the dawn of a new era, one in which Davante Adams becomes the embodiment of a Raiders revival, rewriting history with every stride, catch, and touchdown. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.